I don't believe it's going to be anything as bad as the media are making out. No one can predict the future.
I'm lucky I'm self-employed and I'm not on benefits, but it's still difficult for the likes of me.
I'd also try not to get yourselves into big debt.
Maybe easier said than done.
Brexit was now out of the way, and I felt that issue kind of gave me some Farageist sympathies, but with the Brexit issue down, I could support the Conservatives fully.
If I'm honest, when I joined the Conservatives when I was 15, it was to piss off my parents.
You decide at the age of 17 which way you're going to go, left or right, and I went right.
We're really good at managing the country, at standing up for the Union, and also Britain outside of Europe as well. So I think that's why.
And whatever Boris's talents, he wasn't exactly an honest politician. So Sunak just had to play the role of courtier at the court of a corrupt emperor. And so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on those things.
It seems to be perhaps more right-wing than it was. I probably would describe myself as probably centre-right when it comes to economics, but certainly not on some of the other issues that culture wars that people seem to want to fight these days are less of a concern to me.
Is the Brexit that we've got now what you desired?
It's a lot better than Theresa May. There are still some elements like the ECHR that could use some working out, but generally, yes, I'm much happier than back in 2019.
What would you work out about the ECHR?
Well, for example, with illegal immigration, when they can block our court proceedings, that's not good when we're trying to send away vile murderers, rapists, other undesirables. We don't want them in this country, understandably, and we should have the right to send them away.
Why should other young people vote for the Conservatives?
I think it's ultimately if we want to have, charge of our own money, if we want to be in charge of our own destiny, if we want to make our own free decisions. It's the only party that empowers people right now. I don't think young people want to be told what to do. They've had enough of that.
There definitely are young Conservatives, just as there are young Labour supporters. I think actually we're becoming fewer in our numbers because of the environmental crisis, and more young people are joining the Green Party and parties that support economic promises. The Conservative Party does support economic promises. I don't think that people should be joining the other parties just because they don't like the Conservatives.
If you want economic competence, if you want a government that is strong on law and order, that is very supportive of the police and the armed forces and the monarchy and our traditions in this country, then I believe that conservatism is the only philosophy, if you like, that people should consider.
I'm a second-generation immigrant. My parents came to this country with just £500 in their pocket. Their life was transformed by the free market and the prosperity that gave them, especially with neoliberalism. So I believe in those principles. I believe the importance of empowering people, giving them money in their pocket, so they can go out there and make something for themselves. That's what my parents did. That's what I'm hoping they're going to do. And the Conservatives offer us the best chance to do so.
What are you looking to see tonight?
Honesty, truth, integrity would be my ideal word.
Has that been lacking in the Tory party recently?
Not the whole party. I think the leadership. Yeah.
How are you finding kind of the cost of living crisis, as it's called?
It hasn't affected me yet. That's not to say that it won't do later on, but right now it's not affected me. I'm lucky enough to be working, so yeah, it's not bitten yet. So I'm not worrying about it. I take each day as it comes.
Have you made any kind of plans provisionally, like if bills start to go up, we'll have this plan?
I don't believe it's going to be anything as bad as the media are making out. No one can predict the future.
What have you made of the cost of living crisis?
Well, it looks like we're staring into the end of a bit of a dark tunnel.
My father lives with me, he's 84 years of age, Alzheimer's, I'm kind of his carer, so we have to be, we use more electricity, more heating because he's there. So
I still have rent to find every month and bills to pay. And as I say, this is widespread for everybody, but it's the most vulnerable, the needy, the elderly, who absolutely need the support now, and whoever wins, we must make sure that they get it. I'm lucky I'm self-employed and I'm not on benefits, but it's still difficult for the likes of me.
Do you have any advice for people whose bills are going up who aren't in as fortunate a situation as you?
Yeah, I think, obviously it's a really difficult situation, and, the Citizens Advice Bureau can offer a lot of help, and also I think you have to confront the issue and talk to, your electricity or gas company and tell them you've got problems.
Do you have any kind of advice for people who are in a difficult situation with their finances, who have got massive heating bills or anything?
Well, I sympathise with them. I'd also try not to get yourselves into big debt.
Maybe easier said than done. Do you have any advice for people who are perhaps, you're obviously in a very difficult situation, do you have any advice for people who are in a less fortunate situation about how to save?
Not at all. I mean, everyone's got a different situation. Obviously, if you could have gotten to a fixed tariff, then obviously that's a great thing to do, but that's not an option for many people, and particularly not businesses, as I say. So I think we've just got to put pressure on elected officials to try and help and provide the kind of targeted support that I think is needed. I don't kind of support the blanket approach. I think it needs to be a bit more targeted.
Personally, I want them to be renationalised.
Really?
And a lot of Conservatives do now, so that the tide has turned.
That's very interesting.
Because they should they should never have been privatised. All the utilities should come under the Conservative, under the state control.
There's many people who aren't in the benefit system who are going to really struggle, so just focusing on the benefit system is going to mean a lot of people aren't helped out, which I totally accept. I would remove VAT from fuel, but it's a very small thing, but we should do that anyway. I think there's other things you can do around energy bills, perhaps freezing them for a period of time.
There is help coming along the way, but no government can just suddenly come up with policies. It does take a little bit of time to get it right.
On environmental issues, I think that's one of the key priorities. I attended one particular meeting with Rishi Sunak, which was excellent, but I found that Liz Truss seems to have avoided that issue.
But would you trust her to deal with the environmental questions?
I think it's an open question. I hope she would, but it's the crucial thing facing Britain at the moment.
Yeah.
And not just 2050, but 2030. So it's very urgent, and it's made harder because of the Ukraine crisis and the need to deal with the short-term energy shortage.
Okay, thanks. Arjun, I'll come to you next for my next question. What do you make of the media's coverage of the race?
I think they've thoroughly enjoyed it. They always like to sensationalise things, and it's a perfect opportunity to do so. Obviously, we never knew Boris was going to go lightly, so that's another thing which they've enjoyed covering. One thing I think the media are really enjoying, and it's unfortunate the party's giving so much of this, is the blue and blue attacks. I've been really surprised as a young voter about how toxic the debate's been at times. It's really important, regardless who wins on the 5th of September. I'm backing Rishi. I think both candidates ultimately can do the job. That's why I'm a member of this party. But hopefully we can come together as a party. We can be united. We've only got 2 years before that general election. So whoever wins, we've got to find a way to put everything behind us and unite together. I think the media's enjoyed it a little bit too much, the blue and blue attacks. Hopefully we won't have too many this evening, but we've got to come together. That's what good parties do.
Is there anything you think the media should be concentrating on regarding the race that they haven't been?
I think, as Nicholas mentioned, we haven't heard enough about the environment. This is a major issue, especially for my generation. We're going to have to pick up the pieces, if not my grandchildren too. We had COP last year. That should be the main focus. Sadly, it's been too much about tax cuts and Prada shoes and accessorised earrings. That's not the subject of the debate. I wish I would have heard more about that, because it's the biggest issue ultimately. And as Nicholas said, 2050 is not right. 2030 is what we should be looking at.